when the world gets in my way, I need to make a getaway. So I ride down that old dirt road, the same place I always go. It does us so good sometimes to be alone from time to time. Take the time and let it all go. Watch the world go by real slow.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Last Hobo's Ramble. I am glad to have you back if you're a returning listener, and if not, we welcome you for the first time. As I said, I'm John, and this is my buddy Adam.
Hello. So you can find us on rss.com/podcasts/Last Hobo's Ramble. Also, our email is lasthobosramble@gmail.com. You can find us on TikTok as Last Hobos 4. Last Hobos Ramble 4?
Ramble 4.
Okay. Last Hobos Ramble 4. And Facebook is Last Hobos Ramble as well. Feel free to hit us up in our email, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want. Also find us on YouTube. It's Last Hobos Ramble. You can listen to the podcast there, or you can go to the website I mentioned earlier, or any of your favorite streaming platforms for podcasts and music.
There you go. We're as Billy Gibbons said, we're nationwide. Actually, I think we're worldwide. Didn't you tell me last week that we had listeners over in Belgium? Is that right?
We got listeners in Belgium, Canada, all kinds. Just not in communist China, which
there you go.
Probably a government thing.
Probably so. So this week we've got a couple things to talk about. Before we start, Adam and I don't really get to communicate as much sometimes as we'd like. And this was one of those weeks, I think. So you mentioned our TikTok account. I don't know if you've looked lately, Adam, or not, but on our TikTok, we put up a variety of videos that go from some of the older men telling stories that are quite humorous to, nature. I filmed 2 snakes swimming in a creek, to historical items, things like that. But the 2 snakes swimming in the creek has gotten over, I believe, 5,500 views on that alone. So I'm not sure what that tells us. Maybe we're overthinking this a little too much. It could be pretty simple, I guess. And did want to pass on also that one of the gentlemen is the first videos we put up of the breakfast group telling stories. Thomas Hamilton passed away a couple of weeks ago, and that's one reason I haven't been going and doing the breakfast videos. I didn't want to be up there and him or someone thinking that we were just trying to capitalize on something. But he had a wealth of knowledge about where I live and great stories, and I wish we'd have got there to capture them before all that came about. So, and now this week we're going to talk about a couple of things. One close to Adam there, we've seen word or heard, looked online, it came across our Facebook feed and such, that Mark Chesnutt has been hospitalized. And I think Adam has more information on that for us. And then we're going to talk about, I got the jealousy that Adam got a new Gretsch guitar, and I didn't. So I bought a Gretsch lap steel, and we'll kind of do like we did with his, we'll do a general overview of it and first thoughts. And then maybe in a week or two, me and Adam get together and we can go over it and see what we think about it, how it sounds and plays and everything. So you want to kick us off today, Adam, with the Mark Chesnutt story?
As the story goes, Mark Chesnutt's local guy, Beaumont, Texas area. He lives there now for sure. And then basically Friday night, he had to cancel a concert in Tennessee, and his people stated health concerns and doctor's orders, and more or less uh, ended up in the critical care unit. It doesn't exactly say where, which is a privacy deal. We certainly understand that. Says he was hospitalized Wednesday night, November the 1st, with an issue that required critical care. Uh, he's had some cancellations over the last couple of years for hospitalizations and health reasons, but I think back in 21 he had some issue with his back. He had to cancel a few concerts. But he's 60 years old, and so that will happen. Certainly not a easy for your body life style that they live. Tour buses and what have you. But certainly prayers and thoughts to the family and Mark Chesnutt. It doesn't sound like it's immediately life threatening. They're keeping kind of a close lid on it from what I can see. The statement his people put out was Mark Chesnutt's currently undergoing a medical evaluation after being admitted to a local hospital on Wednesday, November the 1st. Mark and Tracy appreciate the outpouring of love, prayers, and support. Mark's looking forward to seeing everyone soon. So that seems to indicate that there's a pretty good chance that he's going to be back doing what he does sooner rather than later. Tracy, of course, being his wife. But hey, man, we definitely don't want to do a Mark Chesnutt memorial episode anytime soon. So we definitely are going to be praying and wishing him the best. Got some absolutely great songs, though. I think most of our people that would listen would be very familiar with most of them, especially since he's a local guy.
Yeah, he kind of dominated there in the late 80s, early 90s.
Absolutely. Hey, and one of my favorite songs is Still Too Cold at Home.
Absolutely. They don't write drinking songs like that every day, so.
They do not. And, hey, that's a local establishment in that music video. Out down around Port Arthur area, I guess we'd say. But Pine Tree Lodge is in that video. Pretty nice place to hang out. Pretty good food. Right on the bayou.
Yeah, it's an awesome place to go. The food's good, the music's usually good, atmosphere. Never seen any trouble down there.
It's been a while since we've been down there, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, since you and I've been down there, the hurricane got part or some, I'm not sure how much of the old one, and they've rebuilt. Now they have an upstairs to it also. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
knew they did some. I knew they
it's
did some
changed
heavy
a little
work.
bit, but it still feels like the same place, So, yeah, Pine Tree Lodge down there. It's a great place to go. It's on Pine Island Bayou, and man, yeah, if you're ever in that area, and tell you what, it's not far from Winnie either. If you're ever over around Winnie, maybe you're doing the Winnie Flea Market, something like that, drive over on 73. Probably gonna need your GPS to find it. If you don't know where you're going or what you're looking for, sometimes it's hard to find. But I think you shouldn't have too much trouble with all the electronics we have nowadays.
Nah, and I don't really think you'd be disappointed either.
No.
Like I said, it's they work really hard, especially earlier in the evening, to make it more of a, I would say, a family atmosphere. It's not what I would call a bar per se.
No, it's more of a restaurant that serves alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
Really. You can go in there and not have anything to drink but tea, and you'd be just fine. Nobody'll even look at you.
Hey, they used to have a good fried catfish, like a whole catfish. It was
Is
pretty
that
good.
head on and everything, or?
Had the head on it and everything, which hey,
I mean, that's
I'm
a
not
whole
much on
catfish,
I'm not much on the head portion, but I'll eat the
right?
rest of it.
But that's what you get when you get a whole catfish. So yeah, I know they got a
Yep.
good chicken fried steak,
There you go.
and you can get Adam will tell you it's not many places I'm gonna go. I don't try the chicken fried steak. So they got a pretty good one. All right,
The old chicken fried steak's a good way to gauge a place, really.
I think so. I think so. So I mentioned earlier that Adam had got a Gretsch electric guitar episode or so ago, and then later on he went on and done a full blown review after he and I both had a chance to play it. So I was I have this thing. I love lap steel guitars. I love the look, uh the Art Deco look of it, the functionality of it, the simplicity of it. I could go on forever why, but I just like them. So I was on Reverb, and typically the Gretsch lap steel guitars had been selling for anywhere from 450 up. And we're starting to see guitars like most things most things like trucks, cars, and items like that, everything that seems like groceries starting to drop. Anything with collector's value starting to drop a little. But I noticed there was a company on there, and they had one for sale for $285. It was called an open box, which I don't care if somebody opened it and looked at it myself. So I thought we'd run down the specs of it. Now, my favorite color is the tobacco burst or sunburst. The one they had for sale was trying to make sure I get this right, because it's even though it's Tahiti red. So
Flashy.
yeah, well, it's not like you would think. Once you get it out, it's almost a salmon pink though.
Okay.
So
Huh.
it's not like fire truck red, okay?
I got you. What model number is it?
So this is, well, they've got a real long model number, but all of the lap steels that they're making right now are 5700s. So it's a G5700 electromatic lap steel. It's Tahitian red. It comes in 4 colors, and that'd be a white, Tahitian red. There's a Broadway jade. Let me make sure the white's not. It's called vintage white, Broadway jade, and they call their sunburst a tobacco. Okay, but it's still kind of a traditional sunburst. It's 6 string. They don't have a 7 or 8 string out. Right-handed. The body is a solid body. It's mahogany wood, no binding. The back and top, that's all mahogany. It is a square neck, so you have to play it Hawaiian style, which is with a slide. The neck finish is gloss, no neck binding. Scale length is 22.5 inches. Fingerboard is flat. Fingerboard material is plastic. It has 28 frets, which are not real frets, they're just lines, but on the fretboard. There is no fret size. The nut is aluminum. The nut width, which is the spacing of your strings, would be 1.875 inches. The position markers are circles, triangles, squares, and diamonds. The headstock, no binding, and no neck plate. The strings coming on it are 0.012 to 0.052. And then the bridge piece is a chrome bar bridge. The hardware finish is chrome. Tailpiece is chrome plated cast zinc. The tuning machines are die cast sealed. No pick guard. The controls, you have two controls, which are a volume and a tone. And they have the G arrow knobs, just like your Gretsch has. Has a single coil pickup. The pickup color's chrome. There's no pickup switch. And there's no pickup configuration. So you just get one pickup with a master volume, master tone, and you can tune it to any number of tunings. There's dozens, if not hundreds, of tunings for open string guitars, lap steels, dobro, such things as that. I tuned this one to a C6 because it lends itself to country and original Hawaiian songs. Currently, I'm trying to figure out Amazing Grace, and I think Hank Williams' Your Cheating Heart, the intro on Your Cheating Heart. They claim there's a quick learning curve on lap steels. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not quick as most people, so, but it'll be something to mess with, and play around with. Give me something to do. If you're looking for a lap steel, I got this one, like I said, on Reverb, and I've noticed there's 2 or 3 more on there. Same thing. $285 with free shipping. And then I had to pay tax on it. So it comes to just over $300. So that's I think a pretty good price. It came in the Gretsch box, very well packed, but it did not have a carrying case or anything with it. It does not have a slide bar with it, no picks with it, nothing like that. You have to supply that all on your own. So I do have a dobro, so I do have all that stuff put up here. And I would say, unless you're wanting a collector's piece or something vintage, I would go with something like the Gretsch. That way, especially if you're learning, a beginner, if you mess it up, if you drop it, if you break something, you're not going to feel as bad. If you got a 1957 Gibson, and you drop it and break the body or break something off of it, probably not going to be able to get it repaired. If you do get it repaired, you're going to be able to tell it was repaired. And then you're out that money, because you're talking about spending up to a couple $1,000s on one when you get into vintage. Now, there's a lot of vintage out there for the $500 and such range. But again, I went with something new because I wanted to know that the pickups and everything was going to work. I wasn't going to have to work on it or take it to a shop. And, if I decide to go with vintage later on, I can always upgrade to that. So hopefully I can get Adam to play some rhythm for me on Amazing Grace, and we can start picking that out. I can start trying to pick that out, and maybe we can get something going there. Got any questions, little fella?
I could probably do that. I'll start practicing.
Yeah, it's a waltz in G.
Practicing that. Hey, now, so I pulled up some pictures of this thing.
Mm-hmm. It has a retro look, right?
It has very
Art Deco.
57 Chevy.
Yeah.
Curves and looks.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, even the color.
I mean, to me, it looks old, but it's not old. It looks older. And I think that Gretsch made some similar to this back in the, I want to say 50s, but that was a different model number. So they're probably staying with pretty close to the same shape and such, it might have been nice to have 2 pickups or a humbucker if you want to stay in that rock and roll sound, but I think the single coil will be good for where I'm going right now.
I mean, it's a pretty instrument.
Yeah, I think they're great looking instruments. Truth is, I wouldn't mind having one in all 4 colors.
I
Might as well
bet.
have a set right.
I bet. I don't think that's going to go like you want it to go.
I know it's not going to go like I want it to, but there's something interesting about lap steels is, they're tuned to an open key. So that's how you can play them with a slide. But there's 6 strings, there's 7 strings, there's 8 strings, there's 10 strings, so you can kind of mess around there and find something that start out with a basic and move up. I'm not sure one's harder to play than the other, but typically the more strings are, the more confused I get. So,
Well,
I'm not,
like you said, there's a school of thought how to handle
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, you can. I mean, it was not just one person ever done it. Keith Richards. I think I sent you that video the other day. He was talking about he just lobs off the top string of his guitar because he don't need it. So if you want to play like the Rolling Stones, cut off the top string, go for it.
I can't make any of them work.
Right. Well,
Hmm.
so
Well, we look forward to hearing more about it, that's for sure. I've
maybe
never actually messed with a lap steel.
maybe we'll get together and we can even get Harley in there to play with us, and maybe he can teach us both something.
You might learn up enough Larkin Poe that you stand in.
I doubt it. Can you imagine Larkin Poe want me to stand anywhere near him? No.
Not without security being there.
That's right. Not unless I was in handcuffs. All right. So a couple of weeks ago, well, I say a couple of weeks ago, it's been going for almost a month. We had interviewed uh, a gentleman that owned a haunted house up in Jefferson, and
Named Mitchell Whittington.
Mitchel Whittington, and he was gracious enough that I think Adam had bought some books from him, and he sent us an autographed book to give away to our listeners,
Mm-hmm.
or to a listener. And we said, go on Facebook and tell us a story, and if you win, or we'll pick someone out of that group of people, and we'll give a book away, and we'll even ship it to you. And we have a winner tonight, right, Adam?
We do have a winner. So Miss Alicia Snow, if I said that correctly, she has won the book, and that book is about the house that he lives in. It's the Stilly Young house on the state register, the historic register, and they call it the Grove. But name of the book is The Grove, an East Texas haunting by Mitchell Whittington. I read my copy, and it's awesome. It's a great historical dive into the house and some of the activity he's experienced there. If you haven't listened to that episode, I would encourage you to do so. I mean, he's just an interesting guy. It was episode 9. He told us a lot of the stories about the house, and really, we still can't wait to get up that way. It'll probably be around the bewitching time next year, I would imagine.
It could
Uh,
possibly be.
but maybe he'll give us another interview next year and we can do it up again. But the book was, I mean, it was a quick read. I read it in, it's about 192 pages. I read it in one night. It just grabbed my attention as soon as I started. He's definitely a good writer. This book is signed by the author, so Miss Alicia Snow, we appreciate your participation and everyone else who participated. But definitely her story that she mentions he told about the guy in the yard was probably my favorite one too. He seems like the happiest specter they have over there at the Grove. So very good. We'll get the book to you, and contact you on Facebook
Yep.
and let you know how we're going to get it to you.
Yeah. And you guys don't be afraid to contact us if you have something you want to throw at us or ask us about, or just want to, get something off your chest or tell us how much you don't like it. We listen to all comments and look at all comments. We're trying to keep our format a little shorter. We did have a recommendation that, it might be too long for most people. So, comment on that if you want, if you don't like the new short format, or if you do. That way we know what to keep doing, because without listeners, we have no point in doing this. So we want to make it where it's as pleasant as possible for everyone. So, and if you listened last week to our metal detecting story, there will be some more metal detecting stuff coming up. I'm pretty sure, but I do have a tip for metal detectors. Would you call them metal detectorists?
Detectorists is what they.
Is that a real word, or are you making
From
stuff
what
up?
I could tell, that's what the ones that are hardcore prefer to be called.
Okay. All right. So the metal detectorist who goes and does beaches and creeks, sandy creeks and things like that, usually use a sand scoop, which is just a little, I don't know, what do you think, Adam? 6 or 8 inch round perforated piece of metal on the end of a handle, and you take your scoop and you can push it, pick up and shake it out, and it keeps things in there.
Yeah,
So here,
imagine grandma's colander with a broom handle on it, and you can use it like a shovel. And
but it's got bigger holes than that
yeah,
mine does.
it does, but
Imagine having holes the size of a water bottle, okay, all the way around and then in the bottom. So here's my tip. If you're using a sand scoop, be very careful to watch what's coming out of it, because if there's a broke necklace in there, it can shake right out of one of them holes and you not ever see it. So those things are great and make life easier on people as far as the digging and everything. But I saw that happen one time. I saw a silver necklace go right out the bottom of the sand scoop, and I called attention to it. So it wasn't lost again. But, a lot of times when people don't get see something in the bottom and the metal detector don't beep over the hole no more, they think it was just a fluke. So, trust the process and kind of watch for your, watch the bottom of your spoils there, so nothing sneaks out on you.
and don't give up on your hole until you find something. Keep going, because
You have to trust that
honestly,
process.
we found that ring that time we went down to the creek, and I was ready to give up on that hole. Just thought maybe it was some trash, but turned out to be a little ring. I mean, it wasn't a silver ring or nothing. It's just some costume jewelry, but still.
Well, I don't really have anything else to add to this episode, Adam. Do you? If we're going to keep it down on the short version.
No, I think that we got a teaser there on the guitar review, that's for sure. And we'll
Yeah.
check back in next week. We'll certainly try to have an update on Mark Chesnutt if there is one. He's got a pretty full concert schedule, so I personally didn't realize he was touring that much anymore, but he is out and about, man.
Yeah, and I know that he had an upcoming show at John T. Flores Country Store, and they canceled that. So
Yeah, and that's for this upcoming weekend. So
yeah,
just keep in mind that it's going on. Keep them in your prayers, and certainly keep praying for Israel with their Palestinian problems over there.
absolutely.
Just because it's not in your backyard doesn't mean it shouldn't be at least in your area of attention.
That's right.
But that's all I've got.
All right. Well, listen, if you don't feel like you fit anywhere else, come hang out with us. We'll be here. We'll be glad to listen to you and talk to you and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
See y'all next week.
Roll down the windows, turn up the radio.